Hello everybody. In this video we're going to introduce a little more advanced concept. It's based on the chapter 11 of the book. And the chapter goes to really different places, different sections. I will focus in the two things that I believe are a little bit more interesting, more used. That is actually the understanding the indexer and how to implement custom indices. And we are going to talk about a little bit about the override operators. So we can actually how to create operators or override them inside our custom classes. Right, so I believe those two topics are really important, and I want to focus on those two. So let's get started. So let's create a simple um, dotnet application. Let's call this indexers. Let's wait. Perfect. And I believe we can just open right here. I have the folder. Probably what I need to do here is I need to open the advanced C# indexers folders. There you go. It will ask me to compile. I will say yes. I have all those done. Perfect. And let's open the program CS. Let me save it. Okay, perfect. So here we know a little bit what is actually indexer right now. Let's get rid of all this. I believe we can actually get rid of system. No, let's keep system. We'll use the console write line in there. So the simple indexers, or in order to understand it, we have been using those for so long in so many languages. So yeah, and actually the book starts with this one, and this is not much to do to understand it. Let's do a simple array of integers. Um, let's call this the numbers, and will be pretty much equal to 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11. I don't know, something like this. And we can actually do a simple indexer using a simple for. So with a simple for loop, we define an index option. Let's call this index, just to know that it's actually an index. And we say that the index is less. So we initialize the index, right? Usually in a for loop, equals 0. Remember, arrays always start with 0 position. And then, meanwhile, that index is less on the length. In this case, the length will be 6. So you go through 0 to 6 to 5, actually. We will increase by 1 the index itself, right? So this will be the numbers dot length. There you go. For this, we just need to do a simple console dot write line, and we'll do simple interpretation like this. Index equal to the numbers in the index position. Right? This is a really simple application. We create an array. The array we save a bunch of numbers in there, and then we do a simple for loop to go to each one of those elements, and you use the index method or the index properties. So index, what it does is it is pointing to the space in memory where the different values are actually saved. If we execute this, let's open the console. Let's do a simple. Did I do this bigger? Yes. Let's open the integrated terminal. Probably that's too small. Font size terminal. Let's do an 18 probably. Nope, 24. Hmm. It looks like it's not taking my number. Oh, there you go. Okay, now it's too big. Let's do probably an 18. Should be fine. Let's get rid of this one. Let's trash it. Let's trash it. And let's create another one. There you go. That's perfect. Sorry for that. Okay. So here we do a simple .NET run, and we'll see each index 0 equal 1, index 1 equal 3, and go on and go on, right? It's a simple indexer method in order to understand and to see how the indexer helps, right? And this is the more common case and the case that we learned at the beginning in our journey. It's the same in C Sharp, it's the same that you use in JavaScript, it's the same that you use in Python or any other language, right? It's the common sense. One of the cool thing about C Sharp is that C Sharp allows us to actually have indexers in a collections. So it's pretty neat when we actually have a connection and we implement those a little bit better so we can actually go through the process of creating a collection or a specific something. So let me do something right now. Let's let's create our dragon class again. And let's actually do it through here. So let's call this dragon. Right. Um by the way, I have a custom library to help me doing that. That you can actually just type dragon.cs and then type this and it should be pretty much the same, right? With a new file. Okay, this dragon class, what we need to do. Let's have it simple public string name. And we will have the getter and the setter, right? And let's have public. We have integer health, and I think it's typed like that with a simple get set by default is 100. And we are missing the semicolon of the setter. Okay, yeah. We have the get, the set. Let's have the base constructor. Public dragon, the empty one. And let's create a second one, public dragon, string name, integer health. Integer health. And let's do it. Name equal name. Health equal health. And name is in this one over here. Okay, we have the two constructors. Let's just have a simple the method that we had before is called damage. So let's do a public void damage or hit. Let's call damage, right? We want to set integer called hit, and pretty much let's do a simple validation. If hit is bigger than 0 and hit is less than health, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just doing simple stuff here. let's do actually let's keep this hit is bigger than 0. And let's do a simple health minus equal the hit, right? As simple as that. And let's create another public method, and it will be, I believe we can actually do a simple override for the toString. Let me verify that. Yes, we can do a simple override. So we know the toString method, what it does is every there is no string converted to a string. Let's do implement that one here. So let's do a public override to string. And by default, let's do return. Let's say it something like this. Dragon name have a health of health. Hmm, that should be it, right? We have a simple dragon class, right? We created with the name. And we have the health. We have the two constructors and the damage just to mimic something that we had before, and we create a toString override. Yeah. So with this one over here, what we can actually do, and it's described, I believe, in the previous chapter, chapter 10, where we can actually do something like this. Let me show you. So let's create a new C# class, and let's call this Dragon Collection, right? And my Dragon Collection will came my enumerable, so we can actually iterate through the system, and it's imported from system collections for now. And it's complaining because I didn't get the enumerator yet, but we're going to implement a custom index here. So let's do a simple array list. Private, and this how the book actually have it, I believe. Private array list. Let's call it dragon array. It's going to be a new array list. Perfect. Then we should do the public dragon cast for the color. Let's call this get dragon. And we're going to send the position, right? And we need to send pretty much from our dragon array whatever we have in that position. But we need to convert this from an element from the array list to cast it as a dragon, right? This is pretty much what we need to do here. And copy the color. Yeah, perfect. No issues. So after we have that, we just do a simple public void add dragon. We'll accept a dragon called D, and it's going to do a simple from our dragon array dot add the D. Save that, perfect. Let's do, mm, let's have a clear. Because I don't believe the book happened this one too. So let's do public void call clear dragon. And let's call it clear dragon because yeah, it's plural. People is a little bit better because people is already in plural, but it's okay. Clear dragons, and it's going to be an empty one. We don't see any parameter there. It's going to do simple dragon array. It's going to be cleared. Right? Perfect. We have a public void count, and what we're doing with the count is a simple dragon array that count is going to return it, right? And this is not void; it's actually integer. There you go. What else we can do here? Oh, of course, we need to implement the enumerable in order to make the for each to work, right? And I didn't cover this in a book in a video, but it's actually described in the previous chapter from the book. So we just do the enumerator. It's pretty much what it has right here. We need to get the enumerator. Let's call this enumerable. Get enumerator, and we're going just to return our dragon array dot get enumerator. Hmm? As simple as that. So having that collection this way allowed us to do a simple for each with our dragon collection. And let's actually implement our dragon collection to see how it actually looks like. Let's go to our code. Let's go to the program CSS, right? Let's comment this out, right? We don't need it for now. And let's do a simple let's call this simple index in a for loop. And let's do another one called custom index in a class custom. And let's do a simple dragon. Oh, by the way, we need to implement the using how we call this indexers. Oops, indexers. So we can actually use the dragon collection. Let's call it DC equal new. So we just initialize the collection itself, and we can do a simple DC dot at position 0 is going to be equal to a new dragon, and we can call this let's call this small with health of 1000. And we can do save it, and we have an issue here. Oh, of course, this is an integer, no R string. Cannot apply index with expression type dragon collection. It's complaining. What is complaining this? Let me check. Oh yeah, I'm missing something. I cannot apply it something like this. Actually, in order to add the dragon, the way that we had it before, should be for dragon collection, we need to add dragon, and we do something like this, right? Copy and paste it, and that will allow us to send the new dragon to there. Something like this, right? And in order to get that particular dragon, we just do a simple console dot write line, and we do dc dot get dragon at position 0. If we do this, dragon must have a health of 1000 because we override it to a string. This primo default is set it as string, so we can actually get it through this, right? This is the old way. In order to create the indexers to actually work something like this, and now it should be actually dragon 1, and let's call this, I always forget the name of my dragons. Let's call this Shanron. Let's actually give it 1 million of health. But let's try to create this dragon now, so we can actually get it. So in order to make to work through this, the add dragon method is the one who actually get the integer, and then it goes to the dragon array, of course, and casted that as a dragon. That way we're able to get that particular, and to add it, we just with the add method doing through this. Now we need to see how to. Why? Because the position is at the array list level, not at my class itself. So we need to somehow give it this functionality or mimic this functionality to my class itself, to this element. And in order to do it for this element, is that the keyword that we need to use. So just to make that work, we're going to do public dragon this. So we are initiated saying that a dragon element is actually this element itself whenever we send an integer called index. And you can call it whatever, let's call it index here. And public is in lowercase. There you go. And it's complaining. You should have one accessor. Okay, let's do it. So we need to have a getter. And to our getter, we're going to do casting pretty much this that we have same here. With a different that we call this index. Let's call this position too. Let's call it position so we can actually have the same. So we have the indexer there, and we need to set it too. And the setup will be something really similar in order to add, but in order to make it work, let's just do dragon array. Let's insert in that particular position our value. Right? So when we created a custom getter and setter for this object, we're sending the integer position, right? And we are saying that that's a dragon property that we were saying through that. We're actually see in a program that this code is not complaining anymore. And for that, we can just do a simple console dot write line dc dot. We actually do dc1 now. We should see dragon smell and dragon shenron have a health of 1 million, right? We have both dragons there having the correct amount of health that we're implementing. Right, so with that, we were able to specify our custom elements. And something that also is printed regarding this is that will allow us to go to a simple, how can I say it, for each element. We can actually do the simple methods that we used before. Let's actually copy this. Let's paste it. And let's call new index, just in case, right? If we open the other one, it doesn't complain about this. Let's do the new index. So we go for DC count, right? New index is going to increase. We're going to pretty much print our DC element in that new index position. So that will pretty much do is, and let me just comment those out. So we just have the output from this one. We generate, and we have the output right there. We can actually go through each of those elements, and we can actually implement it, just getting as simple as getting the DC in order to show the information that we needed, right? In theory, we should be able to do a simple for each, and we can do dragon D in or in DC, right? And we do console dot write line D. This should pretty much print the same right here. We had it twice, yes. So we're able to do it with a simple for loop and with a simple for each. We can actually go through this process because we have that custom enumerable position working. So we're able to create our custom index in our application, right? It's actually pretty nice. And there's custom int index in a class, right? Let's now work with the next statement and let's do another collection and let's do it through, we know that we can actually do it through a string and we're able to implement those string and we should be able to implement a better index, how to call our dragon, how to make it work the way that it's supposed to. So let me check this. So let's create a new class and let's call this dragon string collection, right? And for this dragon string collection, it's going to be, of course, enumerable. And let's bring this from generic, right? Let's actually import both of them just in case. Right, and let's do a simple dictionary. So let's do a private dictionary. And we're going to send that this dictionary will send the way that we did it before, a string and a dragon. And let's call this dragon list equal new, right? And remember, we're able to use new. It came in C#9 because we specifically specifying the value here. That's why that actually works. So let's do the getter and the setter for this particular element. So let's do simple public dragon this, and this is really similar that we had before, with the difference that instead of sending an integer, we're going to send a string. And let's call this the name, right? And we will still specify the get, That will be a simple casting of the dragon. And we're going to get the dragon list with the name. And the set will be really similar, where we just will go to the dragon list, name is going to be equal to the value, right? So we just created an index through a name, and we're able to get it and set it with that particular name. Let's go put it a couple of other things. Let's do clear dragons just to empty it out if we need it. And this is a void method, and we're going to do simple or dragon list dot clear like this, just for a safer purpose, so we wanted to clear out later. And we do a public integer count. We need to define the counting, and we need to expose it. That we will pretty much go to the dragon list and get the count, right? And then in order to make all this work, we need to do an enumerator called enumerable dot get enumerator. I'm going to get the dragon list dot get enumerator, right? In order to make all works. With this dragon string collection, we allowed us to have a easier way, one or different way to have a different kind of index. So we're going to go from, oops, let me go to the program, from integer index to actually different names. So let's comment this out in order to get any kind of output there. And we can actually do now a custom string index, right? And we can actually do a simple dragon string collection. Let's call dragon string collection because I'm lazy. It's going to be new. Perfect. And now we can the dragon string collection. We can do as simple as dragon string collection. And let's call the first one Shenron. It's going to be equal new dragon. And let's actually copy all this, right? Shenron there. And we can do dragon string collection for small. And we can copy this one over there. The new dragon for small. Oops. I believe I need to connect my computer now. That should be more than enough. Okay. We have that. Perfect. And I have a computer connected now. Sorry for that. So now that we have those, we can go through the same process that we did here. We can go, actually not through that process. We can now specify something as simple as dragon Shenron equal DSSC Shenron, right? Till get casted correctly, and we can do simple console dot write line Shenron, and that will give you the Shenron with 1 million health in the output. Yeah. So with those indexes, we have a little better understanding and a better way to actually save that data the way that it's supposed to, and we should be able to go through this process like this. Of course, or let me just comment this out. Of course, the for each is working the same, and we can actually copy and paste this. And we for every dragon in DSC, and just print the dragon, and we should print both of them without any issue. Oops. DSC. Now to cast object types is the collection key value pair. Oh, because we just have through the indexer. Yeah. Yeah, sorry for that. That's correct. We are not able to cast it because in order to get the dragon, it should be just with the custom index that we implemented right here. So this actually will not work the way they're supposed to. Let's get rid of this, right? But we're able to initialize the dictionary as a new object and getting the object to work the way that it's supposed to. Let's get another one. Let's do another dragon. Which one should be good? Um, Let me look for a name. Yeah, let's do dragon. Let's call this donkey equal a new dragon, right? And this could, his name is going to be donkey, and his life is going to be dead. And we can actually do something like the other way around that we just did with Chenrod here. We can actually go to the dictionary, and let's call this position donkey. It's going to be equal donkey. And this goes fine. And whenever we actually go and print console.writeLine or dictionary entry for donkey, we should be able to see it right there. Of course, it will put the semicolon that is missing here. So we have Chenron there and we have donkey created. And that's playing around with indexes. And I believe we have recording this for over 10 minutes. Let's keep it like this for now. Let me create another video for the other area. And all the code will be uploaded to GitHub so you can actually have access to it if you want it. But this is how indexes work, how you can actually create your index to work with your own generate collection or custom traditional non-generate collections, right? So hope that you like it. Any question, any doubt, don't hesitate to reach me. Happy coding, everybody.